Stop.
Turn over these two cards. Turn over these two cards.
Okay.
Actually, how about turn over these two first, and then turn this over just so it's not so...
Okay, do you want me to read these out?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Boundaries. That's all it says, boundaries. And then this one says chaos. I can see where, if what we were just talking about, the boundaries and that, like there's an invisible line between the two municipalities and that, and with different bylaws. And, if we try and change those boundaries, or change bylaws, I should say, it will create chaos. But eventually, with introducing, derelict buildings being taxed and everything, if they were given an incentive allowance, there will be chaos for the first little while. And, if we could point out to individuals, whoever owns the property, and that the end results are that you will be helping the community, and the community will therefore help you, that will help some of the chaos go away. But as far as homelessness goes and poverty, there is no boundaries. We have a lot of homeless people in other municipalities that are couch surfing, are living, as I was saying, in the motels and under the bridges and on the beaches. And so homelessness doesn't know any boundaries. In particular with the Esquimalt area, there's a lot of federal land, there's a lot of people camping out. I know of a couple of campsites right away that people have been down there for a while and just trying to make do with whatever they have. Now, the solutions.
Yeah.
Create an inventory of undeveloped public and private lands within the city boundaries suitable for the construction of new affordable housing. Anybody want to address that?
I definitely think inventory is a good thing, and I don't think we've done enough inventorying. I don't think most people know what's going on. I don't think there's a real general understanding in either at the municipal level or at the community level or the regional level in terms of what is happening, what can happen, where do we have space to move. I don't think I think inventory is a good place to start, although it seems to be that there's an undervaluing of process such as inventory by those that are feeling the physical and emotional stressors of actually being homelessness, because whenever you propose one more report or one more assessment, it's seen as not an action. So it's a difficult thing to propose, to do inventory, because it can be not seen as a valuable move.
And what kind of, is there multiple databases, in terms of chaos for the boundaries, in order to put all the information together? Is that a difficult thing to do?
Yeah, because I think a lot of it is, there's faith communities, there's social serving agencies, there's federal, provincial, municipal organizations, there's advisory committees, there's volunteer committees, there's ad hoc committees, there's, and that exists in every municipality.
Multiplied by 13.
Multiplied by 13, so it's...
Plus CRD,
plus
which
CRD.
has its own housing trust and its own rules.
And that applies to the problem, the funding. Each level has its own. And that's why the concept of, which I proposed to the ad hoc committee, that I think a first step is I would suggest that all of these I wouldn't necessarily consider valuable solutions, the ones that have been put out that probably could help in some way, but in terms of finding their way onto a priority list, I think that in terms of priority, it's having a meeting of the minds, so to speak, of all of those interested parties and some focused to move away from the chaos, to move towards some type of focused agenda, action plan.
Chaos would be a good way to describe, for me, to describe what's happening related to all the talk that's happening about homelessness.
Yeah.
It's all chaotic and nothing's coordinated and nothing can be coordinated, and it may be designed that way so that nothing will ever be coordinated just simply because it's better for everybody that it isn't solved.
Yeah, that's part of one of my original questions then is who benefits from having homeless people? There's a lot of people that benefit financially. The homeless people lose. They lose with their lives.
I think the bulk of society doesn't benefit. I think there are maybe a few people that on some monetary level benefits, but I think that the cost to our society is way more than any benefits to the few.
And the production of
the on television.
Yeah.
Of buildings and everything.
I was going to say,
Pick up buildings and every minute.
Well, I mean, because I would, it's I think to go in a larger scope and look at the banking system, and if you're saying who's benefiting, you have to look at the whole economic system.
Yep.
And to me, if 93% of Canada's debt is interest on interest, and if you look at major infrastructure projects, such as what's going on right now, the water privatization, that it's the banking industry that benefits in the big terms.
Well, and that's why from a municipal level we just feel like there's no way that one individual councillor or 15 individual councillors can go against something that is so rooted historically and socially and economically in our culture. I mean, it's so deeply ingrained in our mindset and our day-to-day activities that that's why is it solvable? I look back, aside from First Nations communities around the globe, I don't know that I can name a culture that didn't have poverty and homelessness. I mean, clearly we're in an era right now where it's become more than ever, but it certainly is not. We're not the first to sit and have the conversation about homelessness and poverty.
I guess we're probably the first where it seems obvious that it shouldn't have to be that way. There are so many sort of resources available, they just don't seem to be accessible. And if you look at like a building like the Bay Building or anything, right, where you see an empty building and you see people sleeping on the street, you go, well, why can't there be some sort of solution to this? And to me, I think at least what you just said is you just identified, let's say, 13 different regions, almost 20 different perspectives and organizations, and they don't come together, they don't talk together, the information isn't shared. Even to do an inventory seems impossible, but let's say we invited everybody, one stakeholder from everybody in this room, let's say sometime before March.